Welcome back, everybody. Parallel lines, transversals, and algebra. What a horrible font that is. But we've got, 8 questions really quick, and I think that this is going to be, especially with the use of DESMOS, a step in the easier direction, okay? You're going to look at the 2 angles that you have, and you're going to notice that one of them, maybe none of them, are going to be nice, simple numbers, like this number right here, 58. And you're going to get another one that's probably going to have some algebra introduced to it. And we're going to try to figure out how are these angles related to each other. If you read it, it says classify and give their relationship, then solve for x. So if I look at these 2 angles, would you say they're corresponding, alternate interior? Well, how would you describe these? This is our favorite. This is our corresponding. We're going to write corresponding in the box. And corresponding angles, are those congruent or supplementary? Congruent, supplementary, what do you think? These are congruent. Corresponding angles are always exactly the same, identical angles. And so if 58 should be the same as 5x minus 2, and algebra normally means either equations or graphs. We're working with equations here. How are we going to make a simple equation where 58 is the same as 5x minus 2? You just put an equal sign in there. 58 equals 5x minus 2. And in the past, students had to add 2 to both sides. They had to divide 5 by both sides. We're just cruising using DESMOS. 58 equals 5x minus 2. Make sure that you look around, zoom out a little bit. I see my vertical line. It is at the value of 12,0. And so what is the answer to this question? X equals 12. Now remember that this 12 is not an angle measure, okay? So one of the big things that students get tricked with, same when we used to do this way back in the day, this is the x value. It is not the angle. No angles in this entire picture have the measure of 12. X is the number where you put it in, and then you figure out what the actual angle should be. So we just figured out, if it's congruent, what do? Slap an equal sign in there. Easy peasy. Let's check out the second one. How would you classify these 2 angles? I'm noticing that. Perfect. There's my transversal. They're on alternate sides. And I'm noticing that they are on the exterior. They are not in the middle of those parallel lines. They're on the exteriors of them. So these are alternate exteriors. When it comes to alternate exteriors, maybe you have your flip book out. Is that congruent setup or is that supplementary setup?
Supplementary.
These are going to be, if you look at it, to me, this looks like a nice big obtuse angle. Down here, this looks like a nice big obtuse angle. These are looking congruent. Man, you really trolled us in math class, dude. That was sick. So, again, if we got congruent angles, what do? Just put an equal sign in there. 16x plus 22 equals 134. Again, in the past, just imagine these poor geometry kids, right? What a shame. 16x plus 22 equals 134. Type it in carefully. If you type it in wrong, you're going to be wrong. And we get 7. And remember, that 7 is not an angle measure. That is the x value. I appreciate that we're focused and taking these notes right now. I appreciate our behavior. You guys doing a great job. So far, I mean, I don't imagine that this is even as difficult as the warm-up. If it says congruent, you put an equal sign in the middle, you type it in DESMOS, and you're done. Okay?
Let's do this. Say I got my Chromebook, I can't do this by own, like with my.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Or you can borrow somebody's Chromebook. You can work in partners or something. We'll figure it out. For number 3, what do you think is going on here? How do you classify this? Now remember, make sure you pay attention to this kind of arrow here. We got this arrow telling us that all this should be inside in this corner. So this is a little ugly of a picture if I'm being honest, but Make sure you're kind of following that. Looking at the transversal, there's one on top of the transversal, one on bottom of the transversal, so I know this is going to be alternate. Are these inside the parallel lines or outside the parallel lines?
Inside.
These are inside, so I'm looking with alternate interior. Again, I know it's weird because it looks like it's on the exterior here, but that arrow is telling us to put it inside that little spot. Alternate interior angles, are those going to be congruent or supplementary? They're going to be congruent. I'll give you a hint. Anything that's alternate, as far as alternate interior, alternate exterior, they're going to be congruent. Okay, so we set up a nice little formula. 7x minus 1. We slap an equal sign in the middle. We go to DESMOS. 7x minus 1 equals 125. Look around. I look around. I see 18. X equals 18. And great. So far, easy. Put an equal sign in the middle. Move on. Number 4. Again, it's kind of ugly. We got these arrows. How would you consider these two? If I look at the transversal, are we on alternate sides or same sides? Same sides. The other word for same sides is consecutive. So I'll write both just because it's a good idea for us to warm it up on a Monday. But same sides is the same thing as consecutive. You think these are interior inside the parallels or exterior outside? These look like they're interiors. Again, that needs to show up inside there. So these are going to be interior. And when it comes to consecutives or same sides, now we have supplementary. Okay? Finally, we've been doing every single thing. Congruent, 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 congruent. Finally, we have supplementary. This means our equal sign is not going to work anymore. We're going to have to do a little bit more. Exactly, right? And this is very, very easy kind of base level stuff. What does supplementary mean? Supplementary means A plus B equals 180. So what's our formula going to look like? A plus B equals 180. We're going to have 9x plus 2 plus the 133 equals 180. Because that's what supplementary means. It means you add them up and they equal 180. Go to DESMOS. Again, these poor students in the past, back in my day. Easy. For us, we type it in, we get 5. Now remember, 5 is just the x value. It's not an angle. All right, that was our first time doing supplementary. Is that straightforward? Can we keep going? I want to just power through the notes. We're good? All right, sweet. We get to 5. What do you think about 5? These are alternate exterior. And what's up with alternate exterior? We already did one, like number 2. Congruent. And so if alternate exteriors are congruent, we set them up. 8x minus 77 equals 3x plus 38. We go to DESMOS. 5 minutes till lunch. We got 5 minutes to finish. We're cruising. 3x plus 38. Remember, got to type it in correctly or else you're going to be out of luck. I typed it in. I got 23. Now, this is a question. Again, we got 5 minutes to lunch, so we're moving. This is a question where we haven't received either of the angles straight up, right? It didn't say, this one was 133, or this one's 134, or this one's 125. Technically, we still haven't found any of these angles before. It's possible that the homework or the classwork might say solve for the angle measure. Because we don't know what the angle measure is for this question. If we needed to solve for the angle measure, that's when you do 3 and you type it in with the 23 plus 38 is 107. So this is where we figure out the angle measure itself is 107. Okay, we're keeping it going. What do you think about 6? How do these relate? Corresponding. And what do we know about corresponding? Corresponding. These are congruent. And you know what? We have done enough congruent questions. I'm just going to kind of skip number 6. We're just going to move on. Okay? We've done enough of those. Next, number 7. What do you think about number 7? These look alternate sides of the transversal. One's on the left, one's on the right. And these look interior because they're inside the parallel lines. So we're going to go with alternate interior. And what's up with alternate interiors? They're congruent. And guess what? We have done plenty of these. Put an equal sign in there. Get the x value. And if you need, put the x value back into the function. Good enough. Moving on. 8. What do you think about 8? These are left. These are looking same side. I'll use the word consecutive. Interiors or exteriors?
Consecutive sound more formal. Exterior.
Consecutive, exterior. Consecutive. Basically, alternate means congruent. Consecutive means supplementary. So we're going to go with supplementary. That means we're actually going to do this one. We're making some great time. Remember, that means A plus B equals 180. And so set it up with the 9x minus 33 plus 5x plus 3 equals 180. Go to DESMOS. I'll zoom in so we can be extra sure we're typing in right. 9x minus 33 plus 5x plus 3 equals 180. Now we'll zoom out and find out where that is. 15. I got my x equals 15. And let's just say that this question wanted to find out what is the actual angle measure. Doesn't say find x, it says find the angle measure. We're going to take our 15 and we're going to plug it in. Now this one's a little interesting because they're supplementary. These two angles are two different angles, okay? Like supplementary doesn't mean same. Supplementary means they add up to 180. So I'm going to take this 15 and put it in here. 9 times 15 minus 33. That's my 102. So I figured out that this angle was 102. But the other one's not gonna be 102. If I put 15 into here, 5 times 15 plus 3, 78. So that means that this one is gonna be 78. Of course, you don't have to technically plug in 15 to both, because once you have one, you can just do 180 minus 102, and you can figure out the other one. All right, the next question has X's and Y's in it. We're not really worried about this, especially not today. So we're done with the notes. Nice job. Appreciate you paying attention. Not too bad today.